This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Even in the midst of a Martian invasion, we still have to eat, and with HelloFresh, they make it as easy as possible. No matter the lifestyle or just trying to survive a Martian onslaught, HelloFresh has you covered with calorie-smart, carb-smart, veggies, or family meals. Even the pickiest eaters are in good hands. HelloFresh makes it simple to prepare the meal you want to eat, letting you swap proteins and side dishes with ease so you can customize your perfect dish. HelloFresh keeps things, fresh and efficient, offering quick meal options done in just 15 to 20 minutes. My go-to being their steak and potatoes, can never go wrong with a classic. Both Jif and I are broke college students, and HelloFresh gives us a nice break from ramen and Hot Pockets. Being able to eat quick and well on a budget really makes a difference. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Debunk65 for 65% off, plus free shipping. In Martian-filled times like these, HelloFresh has got you covered.
For today's weather, we have a high of 23 and a low of 15 degrees. We have some astronomical news. The Relay 1 satellite has just been launched. Hopefully, you can hear us with all that interference. The famed Harry Barris passed away today at 57, giving us some of the finest scat music around, leaving a legacy that won't be forgotten. This week's biggest hit is Big Girls Don't Cry by the Four Seasons. Please enjoy this rockin' tune. We'll be right back.
Big girls don't cry, big girls.
Sorry we had to cut that song short. We have some breaking news for you folks at home. Several unidentified flying objects have been spotted over a military base somewhere in Nevada. It is unclear as to what is going on, but we will keep you updated. We're getting more breaking news straight from Washington. The unidentified flying objects they've opened fire. The military base is under heavy fire, and the military has just sprung a counterattack. Wait, we're receiving more word. These saucers have been spotted over Washington, D.C. The White House has been attacked. I repeat, the White House and the Washington, D.C. surrounding area have been attacked. There is currently no word from the president. We will stay on the air as long as we can, America. We've received word from stations all across the country on this. The saucers have targeted the Golden Gate Bridge, and the latest is that they're headed to New York City. This has been WDBF. Thank you for making us a part of your routine. God save us.
There is an innocence to old pop culture controversy. The entire world around us seems to have grown more accepting of new ideas and media. We no longer look at rock and roll as devil's music or comic books dealing with real-life issues as being too real, but the 60s were a simpler time. In 1962, the trading card company Topps released their 52-card series set dubbed Mars Attacks. These cards told the tale of a world that was engulfed with horror and chaos under, an invasion from Mars. These Martians have become an iconic staple of pop culture and represent a real pulpy style of the 1960s. The Martians and Topps' rise to conquering the Earth wasn't all that easy. It was plagued with pushback among pushback, regarded as a true counterculture phenomenon. This is the story of Mars Attacks. Topps in the late 50s was crushing sales with young kids, capturing imagination in cardboard form with brilliant illustrations and bubblegum that was hard as a rock. Len Brown was one of those kids, and by 1959, Brown was working at the company he idolized. In 1962, Topps looked to Woody Gelman and Len Brown to helm their brand new card series, Attack from Space. With a name like that, you need something fierce to be attacking from space. Brown and Gelman knew Little Green Men were not going to cut it. Brown decided to go for a more grotesque look for the invaders, and was inspired by the iconic cover of Weird Science number 16. The alien emerged from a flying saucer with a massive cranium covered up by a giant glass dome. This was the inspiration for our Martians, which brings up the card line name change from Attack from Space to Mars Attacks, a shorter title that could be bolded, colored a bright red, and slapped perfectly on a pack of cards. Gelman and Brown looked for illustrators who could do their project justice and found one in Bob Powell, a man famous for gory, pulpy illustrations. Powell would sketch the cards, and those sketches were given over to Norm Saunders, who brilliantly painted each one, giving every single individual card its detailed-oriented love. 6 months later, the team assembled the 55-card run of Mars Attacks. The original run was full of brutal imagery and scantily clad women. It was sent back to the drawing board and Saunders was tasked with cleaning up the carnage. Mars Attacks was still deemed way too violent for the more family-oriented Topps, so it was produced under a new shell company and copyright under Topps dubbed Bubbles Inc. Mars Attacks had finally hit the streets, and its arrival was seen as the name implies. It was seen as an invasion of brutal Martians who wanted to terrorize the youth's mind, and it succeeded. Kids in the 60s were enthralled with the chaos, pretty, albeit barely dressed women, and American heroes that busted big Martian brains. The them versus us nature of the cards really resonated with kids. The political undertones weren't on purpose, but 60s kids grew up in the Red Scare and were hammered with information of a them versus us narrative. The issue with only kids enjoying the cards meant that parents would stop at nothing to get Mars Attacks off the mind. Letters were written to Topps demanding they stop production of the controversial cards. Connecticut DA, who was friends with Len Brown, called up Topps and told them that Mars Attacks was unsuitable for children. Production was urged to stop in Connecticut in fear of lawsuits, and with the all-around bad press of Mars Attacks, the original run stayed at 55 cards and was never shipped to international markets. Mars Attacks seemed to come and go, but these rebellious cards had an amazing impact on the kids who grew up with them. Mars Attacks was and still is iconically counterculture. The same kids who grew up on the original run of cards grew up during the boom of American counterculture that really came to prominence during the Vietnam War. In Nathan Brownstone's novel Reflections of the Cold War, Korean War, and Vietnam War in American and European fantasy and science fiction, he states,
"The Mars Attacks cards achieved their popularity at the very time when the Cuban Missile Crisis captured the headlines, the moment when the Cold War came closest to becoming radioactively hot. That was when a brutal zero-sum game scenario, for humanity to survive, the Martians must die, established a solid niche in Americana popular culture."
These fans didn't just like the cards, they didn't like people telling them they couldn't like the cards, and this sentiment didn't start or stop with Mars Attacks. This feeling can be felt in the rock era of the 50s and all the way to the early heavy metal of the early 70s. Topps received 30 letters from the same school about the dangers of the cards, and to replace them with something educational. But the final letter had one added sentiment from a student. "We really love collecting your Mars Attacks cards. It is our teacher who is making us write this letter to you." The outrage felt targeted at Martians, as the same year Topps produced cards about the Civil War which were just as gory and unpleasant, but the historical nature made a lot of adults give it a pass. It just seems that kids then and now enjoy horror and senseless violence. Even in the last 10 years, franchises like Five Nights at Freddy's, Poppy's Playtime, and even Call of Duty have amassed huge fan bases full of 10-year-olds who just want as much gore as possible. 1962 to 2022, and kids haven't changed their minds. As time goes on, what used to become brutal and unheard of becomes tame and old-fashioned. These cards have become iconic, a true staple of 60s pulpy sci-fi. The fans have grown up and new fans join the fray constantly. The love and impact of Mars Attacks is still felt to this day. In 1996, Tim Burton released a Mars Attacks film, which only helped to strengthen the love of this goofy and horrific series. Topps still produces Mars Attacks cards, action figures, model kits, comics, and role-playing games. As for the individual cards, the love is definitely felt, with original copies going for over $5,000. This fanbase is small but dedicated, and these little Martians can be seen hiding everywhere in our popular culture. It's a symbol that represents a break from innocence and a straight-laced society, and an indulgence of carnage, which is something all enjoy from time to time. A run of 55 cards in 1962 that shook the world and had us quoting "ack, ack, ack." Mars Attacks was there then, here now, and will forever be in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video was definitely new for us. A video essay type is something we always wanted to make. If you like this video and want to see more in a similar format, make sure to let us know. Also make sure to like this video and subscribe. If you like the channel and this video, make sure to check out our social medias in the description below. Make sure to stop by our Discord, it really is the best place to chat with us and hang out with fellow Debunk enthusiasts. Of course, if you'd like to support the channel a little bit more, please head on over to our Patreon Debunk Plus. Only $1 a month and you guys get access to videos early, script PDFs, whatever random stuff we decide to put up, and more. As always, my name is Seth from Debunk File. See you guys next time. Bye.